Good afternoon, LinkedIn. Good afternoon, Facebook. Good afternoon, the world. Coming up on today's show, we have the very Mr. Talented Mr. Luke Hill from Probert Financial and Lynn Henderson, Skin by Lynn.
Skin by Lynn.
Afternoon, Ed.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Look at that. Your host.
Look at that.
You actually know Williamson. You can't go too far wrong, can you? Wow, that's very exciting at the very beginning there.
It was very exciting. Some exciting news. Stay tuned for the Cobra Circle. It's coming live very shortly. In the meantime, I want to say hello to Gillian Schofield. Hello, Gillian. Fantastic. We must get Gillian on the show soon. Awesome to have you here today. I want to say hello to Mr. Tim Nichols, all the way from the USA. Hi, Tim.
Howdy, Tim. If you met Tim and his cowboy hat, you would understand exactly what I meant.
And I'll say hello to Sunil Varma.
Hi, Sunil.
Yeah,
Hope you're well.
We'll make contact, Sunil. Let's get you involved. Awesome. There we go, guys. Anyway, Ed, let's have a little update about new members in the club, because we've had a few in the last week. So are you ready for this?
I am ready.
Okay, here we go.
Well, a very warm welcome to Jonathan Horrocks, who's come to join us from the Investment Lounge. So welcome there, Jonathan. Welcome to Lucia Lizabuska, who's joined us at Cobra M40, and Mitesh Manek, who's joined us at Cobra Jurassic. Mida Obaid has joined us at Cobra M40. Bertram Odile Obi has joined us at Birmingham Central. Welcome, Bertram. Christopher Robertson has joined us at Quest West. Justin Slipper has joined us at Cobra Jurassic. Elwyn Smiles has returned from the Welsh Valleys to come to talk to us. And lastly, but not leastly, David Donnelly has also returned from Welsh Wales to come into the Cobra Club. So welcome, guys. Welcome back in. Welcome in.
Welcome back. Welcome on board. Yeah. There's plenty exciting stuff happening at the moment, isn't there, Ed? In terms of new clubs, potential at Cobra Academy coming along. Hello, Bertram. And now Lynn's just rocked up in the green room down below. Hello, Lynn.
Hello, Lynn. Don't eat all the pretzels. I know what you like. Drink the wine, though. Could be done.
So, obviously today we've got Mr. Luke Hill going to be talking about financial. We're also going to be talking about the Ukrainian crisis, and obviously our thoughts go out to all the Ukrainian people,
100%.
families, women and children, and all the guys who are out there fighting on the front line. So, go Ukraine, we support you all the way.
Go get him, as American leaders would say.
Absolutely. Okay, Ed. So I think what we'll do, let's roll this VT, and when we come back in the room, we'll have Mr. Luke Hill with us. So fantastic. Here we go. Hello, Luke.
Hello, Luke.
How are you? Okay?
Yeah, very well indeed.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, welcome to the Gritty Business Show. Is this your first live online performance? Sort of.
Yeah, I think it is actually. Yeah, I've done a few presentations of bits and pieces, but the first live one like this, definitely.
Yeah, well, it's awesome to have you here, and
really awesome.
On. So let's start with that burning question. There's a lot of turmoil coming in the world, and you being the financial expert, probably the number one question on everyone's mind at the moment is, with everything going on in Ukraine, I've got pensions, I've got investments, I've got savings. Should I be worried? What should I do? What's going to happen? Where will we be in 3 months' time?
Yeah, it's a question I'm being asked a lot at the moment, and it's horrible. As everybody's seen, it's not a nice situation to be in for anybody, let alone the people actually in Ukraine. So thoughts and prayers go out to everybody out there. But yeah, it's a time of concern, anxiety, especially for those invested at the moment, and people are hearing lots of different things at the same time, getting confused, not knowing what to do. And I guess from my perspective, my job's to kind of reassure people and give advice, obviously, where possible. But yeah, the Ukrainian crisis is difficult, it's challenging. I think for me, the careers of financial advisors are always measured by the number of crises that their clients are guided through. I think that's the first point to make. There's so much confusion in the media at the moment. I think that's the next point to talk about. I think CNN reported actually on the first day of the invasion that the global stocks were plunging as Russia attacks Ukraine. And then within 24 hours, CNN again had reported that the global markets rebounded because the West had punished Russia with all the sanctions. So if you're an investor sat on a good pension for what you've worked hard for, it is very concerning at the moment. And my first bit of advice is take what the media is saying with a pinch of salt. Try and take yourself away from it a little bit. I mean, we've all been there through the COVID stuff and how that's kind of affected people. So definitely take it with a pinch of salt because in my humble opinion, a lot of it is noise. When it comes
I think people often misunderstand. It's not the sort of today's return. It's the mid to long term return that people invest in when they're doing these things. And, you know, pulling your money out, moving around isn't always the most cost efficient way of, because of commissions, all the rest of it, of doing things. Sometimes you have to weather the storm because it's not just, you know, whatever fund they're in that's going to be hit hard in a world crisis. Everyone's fund is. So everything's relative to whatever, you know, to the rest of the world. Would that be right?
Absolutely, yeah, and that's something I sort of practice and preach myself. I think when you start investing or you start out as a financial advisor, you think all these conflicts and horrible situations in the market are different. But for advisors, they think they require an answer that will almost impress clients and add reassurance, and they are there to do that. But there comes a time where you discover, I guess, and it's an important truth that all these market downturns are very similar, if not the same. And the message to clients is very simple for me personally, and that is don't do anything rash. Don't do anything off the back of some information you heard from your friend down the pub or something like that, because that is the absolute worst thing that you can do. And you're quite right, Ed. I think if you sell in a panic, then you're galvanizing losses. And that is exactly the wrong strategy to take. So I guess the people that have taken financial advice at some point, your portfolio should be set up correctly from day one. So, for example, with my clients, my job is to ensure that they stick with the historically appropriate, basically, but it's obviously built with the future in mind. So it's reassuring people not to make rash decisions.
Yeah, that makes very good sense. And just to take time over a decision, really, when that CNN broadcast pretty well sums it up, doesn't it? 1 minute,
absolutely,
and the next minute everything's rosy again. So it's
and I think I think we've been programmed by the media to look for a sophisticated answer to solve our problems, especially when it comes to finances. And the thing is that I like to share with people is the fear people experience during uncertain times is completely natural. It is completely natural. It will completely test your nerve, and sometimes you do feel overwhelmed. But the truth is, advisors often feel it themselves sometimes, if I'm honest with you. But we owe it to ourselves and also the clients to not pander this fear and help people and prevent them from making these sorts of mistakes. That's the most important thing.
So I suppose number one tip, I suppose, is go and contact your financial advisor and find out what
and exactly. And I suppose advisors should be proactive with this. I read a story yesterday, and two advisors talking to each other. And one was very much in saying, "I'm approaching my guys now," And the other one was saying, actually, I'm going to wait till the markets uplift a little bit before I talk to my clients. And yeah, make sure your advisor is being proactive, okay? And they're there to talk to you as well. You pay for them to look after you. So please pick up the phone if you're concerned about anything, and they should explain things a bit more clearly.
So
Thank you.
in this current sort of time, if I had some money to invest, what would be your sort of top tips as we currently speak right now? And bear with me before you answer. Very short BT, so watch this. What are your top tips for investments, Luke, right now?
That's a very difficult question, and
Great need.
there is absolutely no silver bullet to it either. And as I'm sure you can appreciate, everybody is completely different. What's comfortable for one person may not be for another. But I think the first place to start, and it's quite often something that financial people talk about, is making sure you're diversified. I mean, I know people that are 100% because they understand that 25% of the time the markets will be down and the other 75 they'll be up. That will not sit comfortably with somebody who's more cautious. So there might be in there more property, fixed securities, and there might be a bit of gold in the background as well. So there isn't one strategy that's going to fit all. What people are saying at the moment is, and if you look over historically, periods of conflict, people have invested more into the dips because things are at a lower, and it has been deemed as a good in time to invest. But again, that is down to the individual's comfort zone on that one as well. But there isn't one asset class I'm going to sit here and say, this is the way forward, this is what you should be doing right now, because downside risk can be managed to some extent. But if you're investing, you should be informed, especially if you have an advisor, that some years your investments will see a downturn. Okay. That is part of investing. Some years they're going to be worth less than they were the year before, 2 years before. That's the nature of the beast. That's what happens, fact. And an advisor shouldn't be running away from having those sorts of conversations. And yes, historic data is not an indication of the future, but there's something I refer to with my clients, and I'm going to post this up after this live session to summarize, but there's a graph of every single conflict since the Second World War, and also how the markets have reacted to it. And it's, obviously it takes a dip at the time, but it has recovered very well each time. So that's something to bear in mind also. But what I'd say is if you're thinking about investing and you're talking about, is this a good time to do it? Speak to somebody who knows what they're doing, because they'll take into account your individual circumstances. They'll look at your own attitude to risk, make sure you're doing something you're comfortable with, and will invest accordingly.
So typically you would do that with someone on a face-to-face basis, would you, or over Zoom, just to sort of like talk me through that process with you. How does that work?
Sure. So I mean, it goes without saying, like, as a financial advisor, you need to learn about the person first. Okay. So I will always talk to people, what I call a discovery meeting, basically, just to find out exactly what it is they wish to achieve. And I try and wear three hats. There's three hats, and what they are: you're a lifestyle planner, a financial planner, and a financial advisor. The financial advisor part is probably something that everybody's heard of. Financial planner is about you and what you want to achieve, okay? And that's the most important thing, because everything else are tools to make that happen. The financial planner is looking at the actual resources you have and putting something together, a structure to make sure that can happen. And the financial advisor, in my opinion, is the least important part. So that is all the products that you can think of. And that's where people get hung up with financial advisors sometimes, thinking they're just product based. But to me, and lots of others out there, that's the least important hat. They're just tools in the bag to get people there. So I try and wear three hats with the life planner to begin with. And once you find out what's important to people and what they want to do, then you can start the real process of planning. And with that, it's looking at the resources, making sure they're structured in such a way that's going to allow them to have the life that they want, basically. And that could be done in many, many different ways. But that's the 3-hat strategy that I try and use anyway.
It's a good strategy.
Is it ever too late to get a pension? I know some friends who are in their 50s and don't have pensions.
Not at all. And it's funny actually, because I was been dealing with a client recently, exactly the same boat. And pensions are the most important tax-free savings essentially that you can have. With the pension freedoms, there's a lot more you can do with them. Yes, they are designed as a vehicle to provide an income in retirement, but there's a lot more you can do with pensions and planning. So back to your question, Andrew, I had a client similar age to what you just explained. We've actually opened a pension, and she is 55. And we're saving in there the amount that she can, which is £3,600 a year, because it's the most tax efficient way to do it. And she's concerned about inheritance tax. She's not going to touch that because pension savings are completely exempt from IHT. So if you were to die, your pension pot would be exempt. So that's one reason why pensions are not just a savings vehicle for retirement.
Yeah, very clever indeed. And if somebody wanted to have a meeting with you about it, best way of contacting you?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I'm on Cobra. Email is a good way. So luke@probertfinancial.co.uk. Obviously, my details are on Cobra to give me a call as well, 07711 249 236. But yeah, just drop me an email. I'll always talk to people if you're unsure. If you think I might be able to help them all. Yeah, exactly.
And typically you do that free of charge for those first initial meetings.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to, because you have to learn about that person and what it is they want, because no advisor should be charging for that initial meeting, put it that way.
No. Now then, this part of the meeting, we like to put you on your toes a little bit. Okay?
I thought this might happen.
And we like to ask you something that's a little bit different to the norm. And knowing that you have a financial understanding of the world, let me play. Are you happy, Andy? Let me play this one. And it'll ask you a question, and just let's hear your answer. So here we go. So, where would a financial advisor go back in time? Would it be knocking on those people in their garage in California where they're inventing Google and chatting to them? Where would you go back to?
I mean, you know what? For me personally, it's something completely unrelated to what I do. But I've got, I love the Wild West, Texas, and I would love to be able to go back in time and walk down, probably one of those proper streets with saloon bars on the side, with horses everywhere, just for one day. I would absolutely love that, just to experience it. I think that'd be incredible.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
That's a very random question. Yeah. Nothing finance related. I might see a bank robbery in the background or something, but apart from that, it's not very finance related.
I was thinking about that thing in Back to the Future, where he goes back and he gets the book with all the or he takes the book, or he gets the book and all the women.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love that film as well.
Cool. Thank you so much today, Luke. I really appreciate your wisdom shared with us in the community about Ukraine, and obviously your expertise with Probert Financial. I think everyone's sort of, I feel a bit more relieved myself. I know now not to panic, not to do anything rash. I think everyone else out there listening will come to that same conclusion. So we thank you for that. And we'd obviously advise anyone to get in touch with Luke and talk about your finances. That's for sure. So
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Brilliant. Thanks so
Thank you
much.
very
Let's
much.
just hit this button and here we go.
Oh, what you say? You think you can take me now? You got the feeling. You got the feeling. Oh, what I say? It's gonna get ugly. It's the only way. I got the feeling. I got the feeling. We're getting down to the wire. Gonna find my strength. Take me higher. Oh, take me higher now. Oh, hey, what you say? Wanna get in the ring with me? Hey, you got a feeling? You got a feeling? Oh, hey, what I say? Gonna take you on, get ready. I got a feeling. I got a feeling. We're getting down to the wire. My strength is found. Take me higher.
Wow.
Well,
That's
Andrew,
good.
do you know our club stuffed full of heroes?
You're right.
And I was wondering who this week would be your hero of the week.
Okay, so normally we have this feature, the club hero of the week, and my feature is normally about myself, Andy and Ted's hero of the week. But this week we've got a special message after last week with Ted coming back on the show. So anyway, Ted this week has got hero of the week. So here we go.
Good afternoon, it's me, Ted the dog. I would like to announce this week's hero of the week as Judith West. The wonderful Judith West. If you want to know why she's a hero, then take a look at this video. Play the video, Andy. Hero of the Week, Judith West.
Excellent. Couldn't agree more. She is a star.
Yes. Yeah,
Great
I really
generous.
like Judith. I applaud her for everything she does with WPA, non-for-profit organisation to look after you and your company's healthcare needs. So that's Judith West, Hero of the Week.
Very, very cool indeed.
Yeah.
Andrew, I might need you to do me a favour in a second. Laura's just broken down in her car, so I might have to go and rescue her.
Oh, the knight in shining armour.
That
It's
knight in
okay, Ed.
shining armour. Can I leave you to talk with Lynn? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, no problem, Ed. Let's all
I
give Ed a
apologise.
big wave. Goodbye, Ed.
I'm so sorry, guys. And do you know, Lynn? I live for my meetings with you. Live for them. She's in there getting the pretzels down before she comes on, and the olives.
Okay,
you.
all right.
Guys, I'll take
So
one.
see you
I will.
soon, Ed. Take
Cheers.
care. Coming up after this BT, we will have Lynn Henderson in the room. Here goes. Hello, Lynn.
Good afternoon, lovely.
How are you? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well, yes. So I'm sat here grinning with the thought of Ed's missus broken down, and I can laugh because I was driving down the street last week and went to stop at the bottom of the hill and I had no brakes. So
Really?
yes,
Are you all right?
a week last week. Oh yeah, everything's fine. It's all sorted. It's fixed. Something to do with the brake servo. But it was that I had that same phone call to my husband going, my brakes aren't working.
Oh, no, scary moment. But luckily you weren't, travelling at 70 miles an hour. At the time.
I was doing about 15. So
Yeah, well, thankfully you're all right. So great to have you back on the show, Lynn. And it's been a little while, isn't it? Because you came on the show back, I don't know, almost 6 months
in the
ago.
very early days.
Yeah, very early days. It's moved on a little bit since then. And so for those people out there who are obviously listening today, if you've got any questions for Lynn here, I wonder if you could tell everyone a little bit about yourself, Lynn, and leading up to the company now, Natural Skin by Lynn, and then obviously what Natural Skin by Lynn is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I qualified about 15 years ago now as a clinical skin consultant, and about 18 months later as a bridal makeup artist. So I suppose for the past 15 years, I've been busy helping people with their skin issues. And that could be anything from babies with eczema through to teens with acne and men and women into their 90s with skin issues, or people that just want to maintain healthy skin going forward.
Mm.
So I'm a crazy lady. I love everything pink. And any skin issues, I'm the go-to one.
Yeah. And are people, like my daughter, she had eczema from the start. The first one was fine. Her skin was, fine. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. The second one popped out. She suffers with eczema. Is it a genetic? Are you born with skin conditions, or is it something that develops with time and processed foods and everything else?
It can be a combination of things. So there is some sort of hereditary genetic thing that can go on with eczema and with some other skin conditions as well. But more so it's how you sort of like treat it and look after your skin whilst you're here in the open world. So babies have got very, very sensitive skin. And they, depending on what you use to bathe them or to wipe them, wash them, the type of clothing you put them in, that can aggravate the skin and cause dry patches. And if that's left untreated, or they're still using and wearing the same fabrics, that can sort of aid and make the condition worse.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different factors to look at.
And I guess in this modern consumer-driven world where food is getting faster to manufacture, that must have an impact on ultimately our health and through that our skin, I guess.
Absolutely. So food, diet, nutrition plays a major part with our skin. And again, it's looking at the individual people and your circumstances and a lot of elements around where you're working, the atmosphere in, what food you're eating. There's lots of different elements that can affect your skin. So it is trying to, you know, we're not saying you can't eat everything, that's, you know, you can't have bad things, you can't have chocolate every now and then, or you can't eat cheese or dairy, unless you've got some sort of allergy or intolerance, then absolutely you shouldn't, but everything within a varied diet.
And I guess
you do need to have a bit, not the whole bar, because your skin will suffer.
Yes, and part of what your service, you advise on those kinds of things as well as obviously give treatments.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of different things that we do. Ultimately, we work with clients to put some sort of skincare plan in place for them. So we look at the type of diet and nutrition they've got, and you know how often they change their bed sheets, pillowcases for teenagers with acne is a great one. You know, how often do they change the pillowcase? So we look at the whole sort of aspect of their life and put some tips into place.
And here's a question for you based on that one: how often should we change our pillowcases?
So if you don't have any skin conditions or anything like that, then you know every week to 2 weeks is adequate. If you've got so say you are a teenager or you've got a teenager that's suffering with lots of pustules and breakouts, then I would, to start off with, whilst you're trying to clear that, every 2 days.
Okay.
And that's just basically from the premise that, you know, we're out and about in the air, the atmosphere, we're picking up dirt and pollution within our day-to-day goings on. We might also be trying to put lots of makeup on to cover those spots and the scoring and everything, which isn't good for you, but that's the process people go through. And then you get to bed, you don't take that off properly, you sleep, we sweat and perspire overnight. All that is being pushed into the pillowcase. You're there for 8 to 12 hours, depending on how long you sleep. The next day, you're out and about. You've probably not washed your face properly. You've put more makeup on to try and conceal everything. You're out in the dirt and pollution again. You come back and you're sleeping on that pillow that the night before you were sweating on. You'd put all that dirt and wiped all the makeup onto it. So that's clogging your pores and blocking your pores even more. So to start off with, we would say every 2 days. And I have had a few gentlemen that have said to me, can we not just turn it over? So yeah, and it makes sense, you know, when you discuss this with children and parents, it's just lots of weeks that can make the biggest difference. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, it does make sense. And in terms of you know, the people you worked in the past, I've known you obviously through the Cobra Club for some time now, and so you know, you work with people with quite sort of horrendous, or they might class it as horrendous, you might not class it as horrendous, sort of skin conditions, or horrendous for them. Can you talk about sort of some of the things you've seen and some of the treatments and some of the sort of outcomes that you've had over the years? Absolutely.
So I can see some of my worst clients have been the clients that haven't left the house for years. They're very self-conscious about their skin, the way they look. They've been on antibiotics and steroid creams for years. Nothing's worked. And I see them at quite a low point, really. And again, we just work with them to sort of remedy that. And that does change. So there is always a nice happiness at the and light at the end of the tunnel. But that process absolutely can be really disturbing for a lot of people. And I remember a young lady that came to me in her mid-20s, and she's had skin issues since for as long as she can remember. And the things she used to say to me about, you know, when she just even trying to have a shower, it was like razors just being scored up her arms and onto her skin, because it was so, you know, it was burning, it was hot. It used to hurt her. And the fact that she sat scratching to the point where she's bleeding. So it can be quite, you can be in a really dark place. If you don't get it under control, or if you've had it for many, many years and you've tried lots of different things. I guess there's always a solution out there. It's just finding
either A, the solution, or B, the person who has the solution, i.e. Come and have a chat with your good self, because you being the skin expert, then you've probably seen it, been there, treated someone, and got a result for them. And how long have you been Natural Skin by Lynn for?
So when I started out, it was just me. All my branding was under my name, and then, oh my gosh, must be about 10 years ago, I think I branded as Natural Skin by Lynn.
Wow, so that's a considerable amount of experience in the skin field.
Yes, lots of skin questions. Even now, I wake up to random pictures by people saying, "My missus says I need to get this checked out. Does it look okay?" And
oh, right, okay,
things like that. Yeah, skin lesions. So it's
So-
every day is a school day.
Yeah, no, that's really, and obviously you enjoy and you love, your trade, which is good to see. So, in terms of all the ladies and a few of the gents out there who do apply makeup every day, for me being a gent, I can't, it looks lovely, but for the thought of me doing it myself might sort of fill me with dread. And obviously, you have to get all the makeup off at the end of the day. And you being the expert you are, I was going to run this VT and ask you your top 3 tips for ending your day and ending your routine. Okay, so here we go. Let's find this VT and let's ask those top 3 tips. There can be more than 3, or can be less than 3 tips.
No, three. Well, I'll probably go on into a little rant thing anyway. But
no,
nighttime routine is one of my bugbears. But so the first top tip is to ensure that you get that makeup off completely. Otherwise, it's going to clog your pores, and with not just the makeup, but any dirt and residual stuff that you're going to get throughout the day. So exfoliate is an absolute biggie top tip. Not only will that get rid of your makeup and dirt and grease, it'll clear the pores and it'll get rid of those dead skin cells as well. My next top tip, it goes hand in hand with exfoliation, is to moisturize, because once you've exfoliated, your skin can be a little bit drier. You're taking off some of the natural oils, so you need to moisturize. But that's also going to soak and absorb into the new skin. So if you clear the dead skin, it'll absorb into that. And then the moisturizer is going to work and do what it's meant to do. Your skin at night is going through a repair process. It's trying to replenish and repair itself. So by giving it some goodies and extra treatment in the evening is an absolute added bonus. And my biggest top tip for nighttime routines: don't wait till you've got in from work or you've finished working and you've sat down and you've unwound, and then you get to 11 o'clock at night and you can't be bothered to take it off. If you get in from work at 4 o'clock, or you get in from the school run at 20 to 4, or you get home at 5 and you're finished for the evening, do your evening routine then. Take it off before you sit down and chill out. That's my
so you can just sit down and relax then after that, can't you? Without
absolutely, and just let your skin do what it's naturally trying to do.
Yes, yeah. And in terms of the routine that you have, is there any sort of products or constituents of products that you should stay away from or look to use? Is there sort of stuff that might be useful or helpful, but actually it will make you more wrinkly in 10 years' time?
I don't think there's anything that will make you more wrinkly in 10 years' time if you're using some sort of products. But this is really hard, actually, Andrew, because it's all down to personal preference.
Okay.
And I advise my clients to find something that they enjoy and like using. They like the feel of it, and they get on with it. So that's a hard one, because there isn't a one size fits all. It is all down to individuality. Yeah,
I suppose it's you've got to try a few out, but you also do a range of skin products as well, don't you, Lynn?
I can, yeah. So I've personally used a specific brand of skincare for 26 years. so that, you know, when people say to me, what do you recommend, that's all I've used, so that's all I use. And that's Mary Kay. But my clients can use whichever products they want to use. I think the biggest thing to take into account really is that if you have got sensitive skin, and a lot of people will say they've got sensitive skin, then you need to be looking for stuff that's fragrance free
Okay.
and non-cardiogenic, so it doesn't clog your pores.
Right. And you do a series of sort of workshops or parties, or I don't know
Oh my
exactly where.
goodness. So over the years, obviously everything is still all about the skin, and it's, you know, skin, it never really changes. So I do the individual consultations. I can do group consultations in like a girly get together if that's what's needed, if you want to learn something whilst having a bit of fun. I do online consultations as well. Obviously the pandemic brought about some changes there, and I do the online pamper sessions and war paint sessions for the guys. I do a lot of stuff for charity. I've got a charity event for International Women's Day this Tuesday.
Oh, brilliant. Whereabouts is that? Is that happening online? Is that an online event?
That's happening online, yeah. So that's for Their Voice charity, which helps survivors of slavery within the UK. So we're doing a charity event. So they'll get online and they'll all have a little bit of a pamper. There's some raffles that we're doing with that as well.
Brilliant. And if someone out there is listening and they need some advice on their skin, or they want to come to a war paint, or I mean, I've been to a war paint party and I thought it was brilliant.
It's fabulous,
So advise all the guys to get involved and have a bit of skincare, hosted by Lynn, and obviously all the ladies to just come along to one of your sessions, and even if it's just to get some tips and tricks about sort of how to care for for their skin, I would definitely advise that. But if someone wants to get hold of you, Lynn, how would they go doing that?
So you can, if you Google Skin by Lynn, I'll pop up pretty much everywhere. You can contact me on naturalskinbylynn.co.uk, which is my website. You can email me naturalskinbylynn at gmail.com, or you can phone me. But yeah, if you search Natural Skin by Lynn or Skin by Lynn as the gents shout, then I'll pop up somewhere.
Fantastic. And you're all over LinkedIn, Lynn Henderson.
I wouldn't say all over. I put out lots of top tips there, so you can read it and walk on by. You don't need to react to it or anything. But yeah, it might just be. There's a lot of people that will sit there quietly and think it's not something I want to shout about, that I've got this skin condition or I feel self-conscious about this. So it can all be done discreetly.
But I guess people out there got to sort of remember that it's not uncommon to have sort of skin complaints. Everyone has them from time to time.
Not at all. And there's more even now. We're coming out of the pandemic and stress of everything. There's more conditions that have arisen over that. Yeah.
Well, Tim says, great tips, Lynn. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
There you go. So we're going to move on now. We're running out of time, but we always like to ask our guests something a bit different about themselves, and let's have a little look at this. So we're going to play his VT, and then let's find out a little bit more about Lynn. So, Lynn, a perfect day. What is a perfect day like to you?
Oh my goodness, that's hard on so many levels, isn't it? I would say probably one of the best perfect days that you could ever ask for, apart from your family and friends to be safe and well, is that day when you lose a client because their skin's okay.
Yes.
It's all cleared, and you're just in touch with them every 6 months for a quick check-in.
Yeah, that must be really rewarding.
Very, very.
Yeah. Yeah, and I suppose these consultations, some can last a couple of weeks in terms of a client's journey, or some can last a few months, I would guess. Is that right?
Yeah, it varies. So most of my clients start to see a difference within 2 to 3 days, but it can take 9 to 12 months for certain skin conditions to clear up. And some of them never clear. You just learn to maintain it, and live with the consequences when it does flare up.
Yes. Well, thank you, Lynn. As always, revealing, enlightening. Just thanks for sharing your knowledge today here on the show.
Thank you.
Just like I say, I'd advise anyone with a skin complaint or knows anyone with skin complaint to talk to Lynn. I've known Lynn for quite some time now, and I hear regular stories of the people she helps. So definitely recommend Lynn to anyone out there. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to play this VT, and then when we come back, I'm going to finish up the show. So once again, thank you, Lynn, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, darling.
There you have it. So thank you to Lynn and thank you to Luke today. Just before we go, I am going to play the intro video that I played earlier because I think it's so fab. And I want to say a big thank you to Hannah for putting that together. And then I'm going to quickly go into the networking events, and then we're going to play out. So here you go, guys. And thank you for watching today and listening. And it's been great having you here, and we'll see you again soon. So, right, let's roll this VT. So yeah, stay tuned for that new announcement. The Circle platform or community platform is coming live to the Cobra Club. It should be here in the next week. So excited about that. It's going to open up a brand new sphere within inside the club. So looking forward to that getting live in the next week or so. So stay posted for that. What I'm going to do now is roll through the weekly events. So let's hit that button. Okay, weekly events at the Cobra Club. So we're going to start on Monday with Monday Motivation with Mr. Ed Williamson, the sales trainer, sales guru himself, Monday at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Next up, Christy and her virtual coffee club, Thrive and Connect, weekly on Monday from 3 to 4 p.m. Following that on Monday afternoon, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., Cobra Creative, with that holistic twist and run by the lovely Hannah Matarazzo. And then Monday evening, Mr. Zafran Khan himself, FSB Business Membership Advisor, digital networking every Monday evening, 7:30 p.m. onwards. Coming on to Tuesday now, Quest West with the lovely Judith West, weekly on Tuesdays from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Follow that in the afternoon with the Cobra Business Quiz, hosted by Mr. David McKenna, all up in Glasgow every Tuesday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Moving on to Wednesday morning, the Make It Happen Hub with Elaine Atherton, accountability and sales hub for small business owners. It's a great place to go and become accountable. That's every Wednesday morning. Next up, the Investment Lounge with Mr. David Lockett, who puts some money in your pocket. Come along and learn a bit about investing every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Next up, the Hive Mastermind with Beverly Lockett, #1 Amazon bestselling author, every Wednesdays, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Moving on to Thursday now, the Jigsaw Hour with Von Taylor. Join the piece of her missing jigsaw and come and join this event every Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Next up, Chris Mason hosting the Cobra Strike, another business networking event every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. in the Cobra Club. Next up now, we have the Speed Networking Business Generator every Thursday, 2:30 p.m. onwards with author Kath Kirkland. Follow that Friday morning, Louise Monblatt running First Thing Friday on the south coast of the UK with First Thing Friday, and that is running from 8 a.m. A bit later on that morning at 10 a.m. is the wonderful Katrina Ellis running Titan Troubleshooters, where businesses can network and solve problems across the UK, which is great. And then in the afternoon, we have the Cobra Express run by Alan Cadden up in Glasgow again every Friday, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Last but not least, Sharon Ritchie running Cobra Soul Tire Club up in Edinburgh, business networking every Friday, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. We'll see you there. I normally ask Ed, where is there? But there is www.thecobraclub.uk, co.uk, should I say. So there we have it there. So I want to say a big thanks to all our guests today. Luke Hill, Lynn Henderson, thanks especially to Luke talking about the Ukraine crisis and not to worry about with our monies at the moment, and Lynn talking about skin conditions and just how easy it can be to get them resolved if you know the right people. So I'd advise anyone out there to go and chat to these wonderful people. And I want to say a big thanks for watching today. It's been awesome having you here. I hope Ed picks up his good lady wife and her car gets sorted. So hopefully that will get resolved. And we'll see you next week, folks. So we'll say goodbye. Okay, guys. All right, take care. Bye.